My name is Christian Ray, and if it's sharp, I can make it. Whether it's new, used, or scrap, I can turn it into a beautiful and lethal metal masterpiece. This is Ronin Blades. Previously on Ronin Blades, Christian Ray uses Pipe Wrench jaws to create the beautiful and rugged Buckeye competition chopper. But what became of the Buckeye's better half? What will be made out of the remaining Pipe Wrench jaws? Good question, stereotypical 1920s radio announcer voice. What will our Pipe Wrench jaws become? I got no idea. I've spent literally no time planning on this. My plan really is just to hit the steel around and see what it wants to be. Because sometimes that's the case. Sometimes projects fail because the metal doesn't want to be what you're trying to make it. And sometimes, if you just give the steel a chance, it will show you what it wants to be. I call that the heart of steel. The heart of steel doesn't actually mean the steel is alive and will tell you what it wants to be. Rather, it's more of a creative process. If you don't have a plan for what the steel is going to be, then just hitting it with a hammer can actually unveil some very inspirational shapes. No matter what, straightening out the pipe wrench jaws is an essential part of the process, as I don't want anything with a 90-degree bend in it. Once it's straight, I begin flattening it out, and already the steel starts taking some interesting bends. My imagination goes wild, wondering what these bends would look like when the piece is completely flattened. And soon, the steel tells me what it wants to be.
I've learned three very important things about our people. One, there's a lot more mass than I thought, so we can make something pretty substantial. Two, the curve she's taking reminds me of a certain historical weapon, and I think that's what she wants to be. Three, there's a sheep, which is weird. Buckeye's a boy.
Gender aside, it's time to turn our bent pipe wrench jaws into a workable billet. To do that, I have to get everything to the same width and then to the same thickness. That big well in the middle has to be worked out, otherwise the final piece will also have a big well in the middle. All I have to do is heat, beat, repeat, until the steel starts to resemble a rectangle shape. From there I can draw it out much more easily and much more quickly. It takes a lot of heats, but soon I have a sword shape. The amount of mass in our original pipe wrench jaws really lends itself to something like a long saber. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly what kind of sword this is going to be. That's going to be a surprise for the end. I will tell you that the length of the sword needs to be very long. When I work on it in sections, pounding one section down to the length I need, and then moving on to the other, this makes the drawing out process go a whole lot faster, and you can see how easy it is to match up the thicknesses when doing it this way. And soon enough, I have the length and thickness I need.
This next part is really important. It's so important, in fact, that if I mess it up, the sword won't fit in the morning. I'll have to figure out a way to do it outside of the fire, which is no fun.
This weapon has a very pronounced and signature kink in it, sort of like a lightning bolt shape. And I have to make sure I do it while the steel is hot. If it bends too much and cools off, I won't be able to bend it back, and therefore, it won't fit in the forge. I also have to make sure it defines the blade and handle gap, so it doesn't just look like a weird wonky piece of metal. Once that's finished, I have to put some definition into our handle. I give it a little bit of a curve, so it hugs our fingers tightly once it's finished, and it won't fly out of our hands. Another defining feature about this sword is it has a hooked tip. I use the horn and clipping horn to bend the tip back enough so I can not only forge the hook, but also define a sharp tip. Once that's forged in, it's time to bevel. The last defining feature of this sword is a very curved blade. Beveling the side where the edge is going to be causes the rest of the sword to curve away, and that will ensure the nice gentle curve this sword needs. This is also an important process because it already defines where my edge is going to be, which means less time on the grinder. Once it's finished, I use my lighter hammer to even out our hammer marks and get the whole thing straight. before we have completed our forging.
Well, she's finished. You know what she is? Can you guess? Why, yes. She's a Khopesh.
The Khopesh is a weapon from ancient Egypt, used by the foot soldiers of the pharaohs. It features a curved blade that makes slashing and hacking a breeze, a tip for hooking enemy shields and limbs, and a single-handed construction so the wielder could use a shield or even another Khopesh in their other hand.
I'm so happy I listened to the steel on this one. I was intending maybe to make another competition chopper like I have over and over, but I have always wanted to make a Khopesh, and that's what she wanted to be. Thank you all so much for watching. Next time, profiling, pre-grinding, and heat treatment. I'll see you then.